There have been a lot of good answers so far, but I have not seen it mentioned that sheep and goat milk is naturally homogenized. That is, the butterfat does not separate from the milk, whereas cow milk does separate. This allows for the production of butter. One of the more valuable commodities in the ancient world was fat for cooking.
That's interesting. Yeah, I assumed there could be a variety of reasons. Thanks for this.
Goats can eat any kind of vegetation, but if you have access to quality pastureland with lots of grass, or artificial feed, cattle are much more productive. Cows are big. That makes them difficult to handle at times, but there are fewer animals to milk and provide vet care for. Beef and cow leather are much more highly valued than those products from goats. Chickens are ridiculously productive and well adapted to confined spaces. Domestic ducks lay nearly as many eggs. It is possible that they could be bred to be as tolerant of confinement as chickens. But ducks need water to clean themselves, while chickens clean their feathers with dry soil. In modern times it is possible to keep ducks indoors and use pesticides to kill feather mites. But chickens have more improved breeding because that wasn't possible in the past.
Chickens will also more reliably nest in a given space even if they free range. With ducks you're likely to have to hunt for their eggs.
It could also be noted that each of these animals fulfills a different need for the farm ecosystem of the past, where a farm needed to be almost self-sufficient, and neither animal depends solely on the foodstuffs needed for the other. Both animals can forage. Cattle, especially bulls, can protect themselves and other animals nearby from most predators, but humans figured out ways to handle them pretty easily on our own. Chickens eat insects and pests around the house in addition to providing eggs and meat. Other farm animals can provide other services in addition to food supply as well, though most of that stuff isn't needed in the modern world since it has been supplanted by something else, like pesticides.
Dogs protect your herd and cats keep the vermine in check.
Availability for domesticating chickens. Cows are easily herded, though in some countries, duck eggs are more preferred.
Available and productivity. We don't have any animals that can crank out as many eggs from a particular sized facility as chickens, or as many gallons of milk from a particular sized farm as cows.
I don't know why cows, but I know why chicken eggs are standard. Chickens are descended from red junglefowl. In the forests where red junglefowl originated, occasionally all the bamboo would drop edible seeds at once. So red junglefowl evolved to run their reproductive systems really excessively fast when there's a lot of food around, to take maximum advantage of the bamboo seed crops. If you have a chicken and you feed it a lot, it'll lay a lot of eggs because its biology thinks the bamboo seed crop just came in, and that means a lot of eggs for your kitchen. Good YouTube video on this. https://youtube.be/_nesequise4ns.
We have lots of good land for cows, and cows produce a lot of milk. Go to someplace like Greece and you get mainly goat and sheep milk, animals that love the rocky, hilly terrain that cows don't do well on. Thanks.
First of all, there are only 14 large domesticated animals, so it's not like we had a ton of choices. For more info on why there are only 14, check out this CGP Grey video, https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=wmnulo_opening parenthesis https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=wmnulo_parenthesis. Basically, we selected those animals because had the best GPA for the following curriculum. 1. Not picky about food. Will eat stuff we don't want to. 2. Produces a lot of product on a regular basis, daily, ideally. 3. Is safe to work with, given reasonable preparation. 4. Has bonuses. Cattle can work fields and provide leather and a ton of meat on harvest. Chickens are a staple of permaculture and provide meat and feathers. 5. Was readily available when cultures first began to domesticate, giving those species an evolutionary head start on being best designed for our needs. Reason 5 in particular is why you see different animals as a more popular food source in other countries. For those countries, chicken and cattle weren't readily available when they first began to domesticate. Thousands of years later and their culture is super tied into that animal, and change is slow.
Interesting. Thank you for this great response, X.
Yield. Many other animals produce milk and eggs, but we have discovered cows that can produce more and are easy enough to rear. Same for eggs. Egg hens may lay eggs daily while geese pretty much only lay a couple of eggs in spring.
Funny, my wife and I were talking about this just the other day when we were tending to our chickens. At some point in time, someone said, "These things are awesome. They make one food per day. If I get a dozen of these, that's a dozen foods."
I haven't seen anyone say yet. Chickens are flock animals with strict pecking orders. They self-regulate their hierarchy, which allows them to be kept in large flocks without too much conflict.
You have it backwards. We didn't settle on cow's milk and chicken eggs. Instead, we bred these animals to give us these products in the first place. You see, both the bovine, cow, and chicken as we know them do not, nor ever did, exist in the wild on their own. We humans created these animals ourselves by generations of domestication and breeding. Cows come from an ancient extinct animal called an auroch, and chickens come from a bird called the red jungle fowl. Since we have put so much effort into domesticating these animals over thousands of years to give us the highest yield, highest quality product, it only makes sense that we use them for this purpose.
Greater than cows come from an ancient extinct animal called an auroch. Aurochs with an S at the end. It sounds like it's plural, but it's not. It has the same origins as the word ox, which just as easily could have been spelled ox, like aurochs.
Chickens evolved in China alongside bamboo. Well, bamboo only blooms once every X years, depending on the type. They release seeds which cause the chickens to multiply like crazy. Eventually, chickens evolved so that getting overfed meant making more eggs, which was a good source of food. About 6,000 years ago, chickens spread from China to the world, making them a great source of eggs. Most other animals only lay eggs to reproduce, and only every so often. Chickens just do it 24/7 given the right circumstances, which are easy to produce. Other people have pointed out the facts on cows, but basically, the butterfat separates out easier than other milk sources, meaning butter is easier to make from it. Butter is important, great for cooking. The milk is just a plus from there.
CGP Grey has a nice YouTube video. https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=1 on why we domesticated some animals but not others and why more animals were domesticated in some places than others.
In India we drink mostly buffalo milk, some drink cow's milk too, but cow's milk is mainly used for religious purposes and for making ghee, a type of butter which is also used for religious purposes as far as I know.
This thread is very overlooking this fact, that cow's milk is cultural. It is a dominant culture because it was spread by European colonialism to all of the Americas and Europe, particularly by the French and the British. But consider that most sub-Saharan Africans and East Asians are far more prone to lactose intolerance than Indo-Europeans. Even South Indians, also not Indo-European, have a much higher lactose intolerance level than North Indians. Cow's milk is the exported culture of Europeans. Water buffalo in North India produce more milk per female, but they were not exported and viewed as the cultural ideal the way cows were. Had the Gupta Empire been a seafaring one that created colonies across Asia, Africa and the Americas, we'd be in a different position and buffalo milk may have been king.
Chickens grow fast and are easy. Very low maintenance in general, and they were available. Cows are great beasts of burden to pull a plow and such, they were a no-brainer to choose. The milk isn't why we keep them around, it's just a bonus.
We did not settle on some random animals. People captured their wild ancestors and through ruthless killing, they were domesticated over millennia. Animals that were too aggressive or did not produce were culled. Animals that produced or had good characteristics were allowed to breed.
When I said settle, I meant decide. I obviously knew there was a biological, geographical, etc. reason rather than completely random. Thank you, X.
Chicken milk and cow eggs were a close second. Fr. Cows are big and baby cows need to get big quick. The best way to do that is to make lots of milk. Cows also like to be kept together in large groups and tend not to kill each other, which is pretty nice. Chickens, on the other hand, are barely animals so much as genetically engineered egg factories. The ability to lay an egg a day means lots of eggs and lots of chickens, and lots of chickens means even more eggs per day. As an example, if a chicken lays an egg a day, and those eggs produce chickens that begin to lay eggs in 6 months, and if no chicken dies and continues to produce one fertilized egg a day, and each chicken takes 1 square foot of space, it would take approximately 3 years to blanket the earth and oceans in chickens. Look at all those chickens. https://youtube.be/f-x4slorvw?t=25 .
I'm going to have egg nightmares. Thanks for that visual.
If ducks float and are free at the park, then why don't we farm ducks? Thinking face industrial production cost I figure.
I would say cows produce more milk than any other farm animal if you have the grassland. As for chickens, they lay regularly and have big egg, so it would be about volume. No science behind this, just a bit of experience. Probably quantity of product, adaptability to local ecosystems, low maintenance and ease of domestication.
Thank you.
A hen's egg has a protein quality of 100, meaning it single-handedly contains every non-essential amino acid for humans.
Goat milk is also the universal replacement milk for mammals. Zoos use a bunch of it. Naturally homogenized, you have to put it in a centrifuge to get the cream out. I had a Nubian doe that tested at 6.5% butterfat. I miss that little girl. Oops. On mobile, this posted to wrong comment.
One thing I haven't seen while scrolling is the temperament of the wild animals which were domesticated. As humans deforested Europe using the aurochs as a beast of burden, it somewhat naturally domesticated into cows similarly to some dogs. Like dogs, not all beasts of burden domesticate. Think horses, zebras, aurochs, buffalo, jungle fowl, pheasant, wolves, hyenas, falcons, most other predatory birds. I don't know why that is. Maybe someone more knowledgeable than I can elaborate, but I know I read something about some animals seemingly being wired to domesticate and some not. Stands to reason that would play a big part in where we ended up. There are some examples of animals we rely on that don't domesticate, like goats and cats. They take the opportunity to live with us, but don't really change their temperament and/or physical features.
I forgot ducks and geese and pretty much any other birds existed for a second, and I thought, well, do you want crocodile eggs or something? It's been a long day, man.
I understand. It's been a long day, rock.
Cow milk and breast milk have similar fat content, with cow milk having 3.5% fat and breast milk having 4.5% fat. So cow milk tastes better to us. Also, cows are capable of producing a lot of milk per day, I think 6 or 7 gallons, though I may be wrong, whereas other animals like goats and sheep only produce around 1 gallon a day. Now I may be wrong about this, but I think the reason why we use chickens is because they're capable of laying a lot of eggs in a short period of time, and it doesn't really take very many resources for them to do it. I believe that chickens descended from jungle fowl in Asian bamboo forests who adapted to lay lots of eggs whenever the bamboo would drop its seeds. So we took advantage of that.